US President Donald Trump is seen insulting the Ukrainian counterpart Volodymyr Zelensky.
Your country is in big trouble.
I know.
You're not winning. You're not winning this.
Just sign the papers and bugger off. These were the words used by the Donald Trump. How can you expect the democratically elected president to be treated like this? Hello and welcome everyone to PW Only IAS English. A couple of days back, we all came across this objectionable video wherein the US President Donald Trump is seen insulting the Ukrainian counterpart Volodymyr Zelensky.
Your country is in big trouble.
I know.
You're not winning.
know.
You're not winning this. You have a damn good chance of coming out okay because of us.
Mr. President, we are staying in our country, staying strong from the very beginning of the war. We've been alone.
If you didn't have our military equipment,
if you
didn't have our military equipment, this war would have been over in 2 weeks.
The Ukrainian President Zelensky was on the visit to the US on the special invitation by Donald Trump, so that they both can discuss and iron out the differences surrounding the Russia-Ukraine peace deal that is required to end this 3-year-long Russia-Ukraine war. By the way, what were the contours of the deal? Let's discuss that out. First of all, Ukrainian president was required to forget about the 20% areas that are still in the possession of Russia. Russia as of date contains 20% of the Ukrainian area. Zelensky, the Ukrainian president, agreed for the same. Okay, sir, I will do that. Second, Ukrainian president was required to sign the deal for lending on lease those areas of Ukraine which are mineral rich to the US for 99 years. To which Zelensky said, okay, sir, I bid your calling. I'm agreeing to that also. Then what was the thing that infuriated Donald Trump? In return of all this, Zelensky was asking for US security guarantee, so that if in case like 2014, when Russia annexed Crimea region of Ukraine, like 2022, when Russia attacked Ukraine this time around, if such kind of a thing happens again, US should stand by Ukraine. This is all that he as the president of his country was asking for. Donald Trump, this point onwards, started ridiculing Volodymyr Zelensky that you are asking for too much. You are not in a position to negotiate. Just sign the papers and bugger off. These were the words used by the Donald Trump, quote unquote. Now the problem here is that Ukraine, how can you expect the democratically elected president to be treated like this by an other president of the so-called one of the world's greatest democracy? Ukrainian president, no doubt, is someone who needs help and who is right to a great extent that how can Russia decide that Ukraine cannot join NATO? Ukraine is a sovereign country. Let's talk about Russia. When did this war start? Where did Volodymyr Zelensky go after US fiasco? He went straight away to UK, to the European countries, asking for some help, even as European Union was organizing a European Union summit for Russia-Ukraine war deal. So what were the contours there? In there also, Ukraine was supported merely in words. UK and the other European Union countries themselves depend upon the US for their security assistance. How can they then support Ukraine? That was a question. As of date, US has spent around $350 billion on the Russia-Ukraine war, supporting Ukraine. And per year expenditure is around $65 billion by the US, and it is around $51 billion by the entire European Union combined. So can you expect Ukrainian war to end in favor of Ukraine without the support of the US? All these questions aside, peace deal aside, let's talk about from where it all started. Let's go back to 2014 when this deal was being, when this war actually started. Russia was infuriated that how can it allow any of its backyard countries, talk about Finland, talk about Sweden, talk about Ukraine, how can these countries join NATO membership? The roots of this dispute go back to the Cold War era. 1990, disintegration of USSR, despite that Russia would never allow any of its backyard countries to join NATO. And Ukraine was, in a way, walking down this adventurous path of testing the limits of Russian tolerance. That too of Vladimir Putin as the president of Russia. So therein it all started. Russia tested the limits. Russian President Vladimir Putin was not in a hurry. He was all decided. He tested the limits of the European Union countries and the US, that is the NATO, as to what extent can they go if in case Russia attacks Ukraine. The first such testing of the waters happened in 2014 when Russia annexed the Crimea region of Ukraine. At that time, Russian economy was flooded with, or you can say Russian economy was bombarded with a lot of economic sanctions. That too by the US and the European Union combined. They thought that by bleeding economy, Russian economy, they would be able to extract concessions. They would be able to make Russia agree to Ukraine joining NATO. Well, it was Vladimir Putin. Had it been somebody else, we could have still accepted it. We could have still thought of somebody agreeing to this. But it was not a weak president. So what happened in 2014? After that, Russia got to know the vulnerable points as to where all can these economic sanctions hurt. Ranging from the oil supplies, Nord Stream Pipeline 1 was already a dependency factor of the European Union. European Union itself is dependent on Russia insofar as these gas supplies are concerned, which are essential for the cool region of European Union. Second, what did Donald Trump do after 2014? He further increased the dependency of the European Union countries on Russian gas supplies by constructing Nord Stream Pipeline 2. Nobody was expecting that Russia was preparing itself for 2022 war. If in case the war happens again, European Union economies are themselves dependent on Russia. Not by Nord Stream Pipeline 1, not just Pipeline 1, but this time Pipeline 2 also. So this is how he insulated the Russian economy from the onslaught of economic sanctions of European Union countries and that too of the US. When the war began in 2022, after the long preparation from 2014 till 2022, the Russian president Vladimir Putin it was expected that he would be isolated internationally. They had thought that they would be able to isolate Russian president, but that did not happen. Okay, so the Joe Biden led America plunged America and other NATO countries into war, thinking that what his predecessor, the Donald Trump era won, Donald Trump in his first innings could not do, he would do the same, to make America great again by making Ukraine win a war against Russia. But that was a slippery slope, to the extent that today they have spent around $350 billion and there is no end to war in sight. And Ukraine has lost, as I said already, 20% of its territory. Not to talk about mineral resources, not to talk about the dependency of European countries on the Russia. So what happened? They had thought that gradually Russia would succumb to the economic sanctions. This was their first point, that after 2022 war, which started on February 24, 2022, complete 3 years today, 7 days back. So sanctions will make Russia surrender to European Union demands and Ukraine will be able to join the European Union, the NATO. That did not happen. Second, they had thought Russia will not be able to withstand NATO's military power, including the US. That also did not happen. How did Russian president ensure this? We will talk about that in a while. Third, they had thought that Putin will be isolated. One by one, we will debunk these points as to how the Russian president Vladimir Putin ensured that Russia did not falter on any of these 3 points. Number one, sanctions will make Russia surrender. Look at the economic data. GDP of Russian economy for 2023-2024 was 4%. That is, Russian economy grew by 4% per annum. Let's talk about G7 countries, predominantly the NATO countries including Canada, US, etc., UK, etc. So GDP of the G7 countries combined was 1.7% growth rate. Did Russian economy bleed? Was it affected by the 15,000 sanctions that were imposed on Russia by the US and European Union separately? Doesn't seem like. When the war started, Joe Biden, the then US president, had said that he will convert the Russian currency ruble into rubble, into malba, as we call it in Hindi. Did that happen? At the start of the war, $1 was equal to 85 ruble. Today, $1 is equal to 89 ruble. We can't say that it is into rubble, right? It has been able to hold its stead against many other currencies of the world, including the Indian rupee. Ruble has been resilient enough insofar as the currency war is concerned. Talking about the other parameters, isolating Vladimir Putin. Vladimir Putin has made new friends. Talk about our own Narendra Modi, the Prime Minister of India. Talk about the Chinese leader Xi Jinping. He made friends with Xi Jinping, Indian leader, then North Korean Kim Jong-un. Hosting the African leaders into Russia. All this was going on even as European Union countries, the Europe, the Ukraine, the US were trying to isolate Vladimir Putin, declare him as international terrorist. He made sure that not only this, the Nord Stream Pipeline 1, Nord Stream Pipeline 2 dependencies increased. Secondly, BRICS countries. He also made sure that the weapons of the Russian economy, the Russian defense equipment are sold to Indian economy, are sold to the Indian defense, machinery. Then to the Western counterparts, the Southeast Asian counterparts, and African countries also. So S-400 was purchased by India during these years only, even as the sanctions were at their peak. US did not allow any of the other countries to deal with Russia. Despite that, Russia was able to see its coffers, see its treasury rising, swelling up like never before. So this was the strategic planning that went into the Russia-Ukraine war right from 2014 testing of the waters, when for the first time Russia had annexed an important region of Ukraine named as Crimea. This is how Vladimir Putin planned for this fateful war. He made sure that new members are added to the BRICS countries. So you can see the isolation. If this is isolation, every leader of the world, including Indian leader, including Chinese leader, would want a share out of this pie. If this is isolation of Russian President Vladimir Putin. So this is how what started in 2014 ended in a situation, or still end is not in sight, but still it is panning itself out in a manner that all the conditions of Vladimir Putin are met, and all the conditions, all the speculations that European Union countries had are meeting their dead end. Let's see how the peace deal is signed, how it pans out. We as Indians, as a peace-loving nation, we would want to look forward to an amicable solution to this problem, so that our economy at this time needs the peace and stability in the world. We want the crude oil prices to be stable. We want the wheat prices to be stable. So let's hope that this war ends soon and a new order, new world order that is more democratic, that is more respectful for the leaders like Vladimir Zelensky takes place. With this, I end this video. We'll be meeting again with more such updates in the coming days. Thank you guys.